Hey, what's up, everybody? I wasn't talking to you, bro. I'm surprised Beaky has not come over here for one video. Like, he will lay here sometimes behind me, but I don't know what his deal is. He's been laying on this thing too, which has been funny to watch him do. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about identity and I've been workshopping the title. It's like identity shifting and curating. Hold on. Curating a really cool group of multiple personalities. Something like that. That's the working title. I think that's what we're going to make it. So, talking about identity shifting. Talking about identity shifting, bro. Shifting identities, my dude. That's a tough cookie. I think I talked about this yesterday, maybe. I'm always going to reference this chick because she's helped me out a ton, and I use her rhetoric, her framework, as like kind of my basis for things, and it helps me out a ton. So I don't mind parroting what I heard somewhere else, right? Nothing is original, y'all. It's totally cool. So, Katie Clark, talking about the internet's #1 Irish manifestation baddie. Love that woman. So she likes to think of it as 5 different things that need to change for you, or like 5 things you got to focus on to make an identity change happen. Right? So it's what? Beliefs, thoughts, emotions, your focus, and then your action. Right? And I don't know if she vocalized this or if this is my way of like putting it together in my head, but it's like beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and focus are like internal things you could do, where your action is obviously a physical thing you gotta get done. So a thirsty boy. I have not had enough water today. So let's see. You have your beliefs, right? What you believe about the world, what you believe about yourself. Oh, right. We kind of covered all this already, but it's like the idea is to have this image of what this like ideal version of you looks like and what they're doing, right? What do they believe in? So like assign all these things to this person, right? These like 5 core concepts. What beliefs do they have? What thoughts do they have? What emotions do they have? What's their focus? What are their daily actions? And then see that what that dissonance is and try and bridge that gap. That's essentially, in a nutshell, what we're talking about when we're talking about identity shifting. So it's slowly changing your beliefs, what you believe about the world, about yourself, about your family, relationships, all that. Focusing in on that. Maybe writing this stuff down, right? Writing what you believe. Then thinking about your thoughts. What do you think about on a day-to-day? You know, what does your higher self think about on a day-to-day? Write that stuff down too. You gotta remember, it's okay to think whatever you think, whatever thoughts you think. Those are thoughtable things. Thinkable thoughts. Thoughtable things, my guy. That's a crazy sentence. Crazy phrase. Thinkable thoughts. Everything's okay, everything's allowed. Just be careful what you choose to magnify, reflect upon. You know, don't linger in unnecessaries. Just stay coasting, dude. Stay light and detached and fluffy. Stay fluffy. So your thoughts, right? Like, what are you thinking? You know. Then you have your emotions. What do you feel like on most days, man? Like, I've been feeling super tired, bro. Super eepy. But that's mostly because I wake up super early. I don't get much sleep, and I'm doing way too much in the physical department. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm really happy where I am physically. I'm probably the most conditioned I have ever been right now. I traveled a total of 100 miles in 2 weeks, according to my Apple Watch data. I've been burning like an average of 1,400 calories a day. Insane stuff. I've been going way too hard. And like, I could take days off, but it's so funny. Like, it's such a trope. I just hate taking a day off. It's such a meme. I hate taking a day off. And it doesn't bother me to not take a day off. I don't know. Like, I have the energy for it. I don't feel like I'm burnt out. My body feels tired. But that's natural. I get this like period of deep rest in the morning, afternoon for like an hour or two where I'll like take a really good nap or two. You know, and I just recharge like before going to work. Today I gotta go to work a little early, which sucks, but once I finish this video, I'm freaking passing out again, dude. You best believe it. I already took a nap. I got coffee here, and it's working, but I need that nap. I like taking coffee naps. That's a thing I like to do. I'll take like a big swig of coffee, and I'll pass out, and then I wake up like supercharged. It's awesome. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, we're talking about emotions? No. How do you feel? Emotions. What's the last one? Oh, yeah, emotions. Yeah, we were on emotions. So how do you feel day in, day out? How does your higher self feel day in, day out? Figure out that cognitive dissonance. Figure out what's freaking bugging you, man. Why aren't you like chill all the time, dude? Why are you stressed? Think about it. Sit with it, you know? It's hard to be still, but like try it out, you know, even if it's for a little bit. I'm going to talk about our number one Irish baddie again. I think she describes meditation the best way that anybody, and there's this one video I saw of her, the first video I saw her, that just kind of like flipped everything on its head for me a little bit. And the way she talked about meditation was like, 30 minutes a day, go find a spot in your house that's quiet, whatever. Sit there and just sit there and don't do anything. Meditation isn't about focusing on a mantra or like focus on your breath, which helps, you know. But it's more just sitting there with yourself and trying to get your monkey brain to chill out, dude, and get quiet so that you can feel the separation between your heart center and the ego, which is something we keep talking about. And in that separation, you can really start seeing where these emotions are coming from. And like, always, man, trust your inner knowing, trust your intuition. It might even seem silly. It might even seem silly what it is, like what these reasons for you like feeling this way are. And that's okay. Let it be silly. What's wrong with it being silly? Remember, you still got a kid inside of you, man. And that kid is gonna act like a dang kid. You're gonna have irrationalities and like, maybe even a tantrum. I know I'm capable of it. I'm super emotional and everything is, you know, everything is like, I feel everything, so I'm sensitive to everything. Everything's kind of personal because blah, blah, blah. There's a line someone spoke the other day that stayed with me. It's like, cognitive dissonance is not always malicious intent. Bro, I love that. Because I always read into things like they're malicious intent, but people are just doing their best, man. No one's trying to hurt you. They're just trying to survive out here. You know, that's something I've struggled with. So yeah, back to the emotion thing. We'll finish this eventually, I promise. Yeah, so just finding that stillness, meditate, monkey brain to a minimum, figure out why you feel the way you're feeling, and sort it out, and then try and bridge that gap between what you now feel and what your higher self is. Okay, so then the last thing is your focus. What are you putting your attention on? It's like, what are you consuming? That's about it. What are you putting your attention on and what are you consuming? Right, like, are you making anything? If so, what are you making? If you're not making anything, then that means you're consuming. If you're not creating, you're consuming. Right? Because very rarely do people just sit in stillness, which is why we're always talking about it anyway, right? So being mindful of that, you know, is what you're consuming in line with what you're after, what you're trying to manifest for yourself, what you're trying to be in alignment with? If not, then that might be something to look at, you know? I find maybe, and I don't know, this is just me, we have a lot of issues that are a lot simpler than we think they are, right? We like to complicate things and draw these really ornate stories around restrictions, right? Like why we don't do things, these beautiful stories, why we can't do something. And like, we don't realize our own power, man. Like, words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. You know, everybody's got the capacity to draw energy and put it out there, and, you know, everybody's got that power to draw or push out energy. So when you say things for certain about yourself, you're creating that energy, right? Or like emboldening that energy that already exists, because if you feel that way, it's already there, you know? So when you draw up these stories of lack, you're just making it more true, man. So be very careful what you talk about yourself. That's important in this identity thing. That's very important in this identity thing, which goes back to maybe belief, right? This is part of belief, but it's also part of action, because you gotta say the words and speak it out loud for it to come true, right? Or feel the energy, which is a belief. So that covers that part. So I guess we move into action now, huh? Which feels pretty self-explanatory. Just do the damn thing, man. You know what you gotta do. You know what you gotta do. You know what you gotta do. Here's the deal. Here's what happens. And I think it's even more magnetic than how I'm about to put it right now. So it's like, the more you get closer, or the more you kind of nestle in to this frequency of the person you're trying to be, right? The more you identify what that frequency looks like and feels like, and the more you can hit that groove of like, oh, I'm in it right now. Oh, I'm in here, dude. Oh, baby, I'm coasting, bro. Once you get into that groove, you automatically gain this intuition that like knows what's up, that knows what time it is, knows what to do, knows what the next step is, and you just gotta act upon it, man. It's a lot simpler than we like to think it is. This whole like woo-woo manifestation, alignment, higher purpose, bro. It's a lot simpler than I think we understand it to be, or like we like to perceive it to be. It's just like, bro, letting go of all these like systems or like ideas of what you think should work for you. Everyone's different, man. What's medicine for one guy is poison for me, you know? So you got to find out what works for you, which means trial and error, which means making a fool out of yourself, which you got to get comfortable with, which means putting yourself out there, which means getting used to getting hurt, which means becoming resilient, which means you're awesome. But you're already awesome. We know that. It's no secret. It's no secret. You're already awesome. So that's kind of like the meat and potatoes of identity shifting, right? What you believe about, your day-to-day thoughts, your day-to-day emotions, your focus, and your actions. Making sure your actions align with everything that comes before, right? That is in line with what you're trying to become. Yeah, which is, for me it works better, because it's kind of like, at least for me, I need drastic change pretty often to maintain general interest. That's a crazy thing to say. I need drastic change to maintain general interest in life. Or not even that. It's just like, I live an exaggerated life, I guess you could say. I like to paint exaggerated stories and pictures of the things I experience, so that life's a little bit more magical, right? It feels like I'm in a movie or something, or like I'm in a fairy tale, and like the shit that happens to me doesn't happen to anybody, because I believe like I live in a special kind of heaven, right? I live on a movie set where like the Deus Ex Machina always helps out the main character over here. You know, like I'm just incredibly lucky and blessed, and I get to do pretty much whatever I want to do. Life's awesome. You know, I have challenges and struggles like anybody else, but everything's so cool, dude. Everything's good. You know, I pretty much have more or less everything I want. Not everything I want, but like, I'm freaking super happy most days, man. Honestly. And like the things I don't have, I feel like they're right there. Like they're right on the edge of becoming like coming to fruition. Right? These last couple of things that I'm like really after here, that I'm working hard on. Well, some I'm working hard on, some I don't even know what the fuck is going on. Will he ever elaborate on that? We'll never know. Okay, so I guess we can move on to the next bit, right? The next part of the video, which is curating a really nice starting lineup for your multiple personality disorder. Yeah, because here's what's going to happen. Here's what happened to me. Here's what happened to me. God, words are suck. Words are so suck. I've had this idea of like tastefully using the ego for a while now. This is something I talked about a couple videos back. Where once you get a grip on your ego and you kind of know what it looks like and how it operates and your shadow and blah, 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 and all this woo-woo hippie garbage, you start figuring out that you can use your ego tastefully in a fun way to try on different hats and become on different personas and have fun. Because at least my ego loves shape-shifting. My ego is very like enjoys not being understood. That's what my ego loves to confuse people. So I use that to be elusive and mysterious, and it's so much fun. I have so much fun with it. But like, you know, not malicious, right? Don't ever be like you use it tastefully to degrees. Don't be malicious. Don't go full send into that darkness of like, at least for me, being sly and, you know, facetious and like deceiving even, right? Don't go too far into that. It's just be sly, be fun, be mysterious. Don't go too crazy. So that's an example for me, right? But for me, I feel like I have all these like ranges of emotion and extremes of like I am 20 different people, I feel like, in one. Some days I'm bubbly and sensitive and funny and exciting and blah, blah, blah. And the other days I'm stoic and quiet and don't bother me, I'm upset. And other days I'm like uh, a, a log, a piece of wood that's just lying on the ground. I'm very still and grounded and, you know, I'm just so different every day. So like it feels for me, the hardest thing for me to like get a grip on is like not seeming like a freaking psychopath, man. Because I can be so many different things, and it's not that so much that I don't care. I don't really care what other people think about me. But it just felt so chaotic inside my own mental landscape that it was really hard to get a grip on. So I figured out I feel like books come to you when exactly when they need to arrive in your life. If you're a book reader, if you're an enjoyer of words on paper, like I am, I feel like a book comes into your life right when you need it, like in that perfect moment. So I read this book called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. And it's a male psychology book. I recommend every man read this book. It's so good. King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. So that book I think it's written by some psychologists, two people if I'm not mistaken, Robert Moore and something Gillette. I forget the other person's name. So they posit that the male psyche is dominated by 4 cardinal energies, right? The king, the warrior, the magician, and the lover. And every respective pole has an immature and a mature energetic signature, I guess you could say. So the king comes, I think, from the divine child. I forget off the top of my head. The lover comes from like the Oedipal. I forget. There's a mature and an immature version that you ascend through as you gain years, manhood, whatever. And you only ascend through it through the warrior archetype because every man has to have a rite of passage into manhood or a ceremony, which is a whole nother conversation to have. Which is a whole nother conversation to have about the masculine in today's society and the lack of ceremony and ritual and like boys, dude, like there's 40-year-old boys out here, like for real, like 30-something-year-old boys, because nobody taught them how to be a man. Nobody told them, hey, you're a man now, go do man shit, go be a man, you know? There's just 40-year-old boys out here like in broad daylight because there's no more ritual and ceremony. Not to say that I had my ritual and ceremony. I mean, I might have been one of the fortunate ones because of my specific upbringing, right? I'm Cuban, but I was also raised within African religions, and they have ceremonies and rituals and rites of passage galore, and I went through a couple of them. So if you want to think of that, I kind of had a fucking ceremony of sorts that I went through that indicated like a spiritual ascension, really, but might as well be an ascension to manhood, honestly. But anyway, so these 4 archetypes have their immature, their mature things about them, and then you ascend all 4 through the warrior, because the warrior becomes the hero needs to die. Once the hero dies, you realize life is so much more than this main character energy of like, I'm the hero. Fuck the hero, save yourself first, then you can save others. And then once you're in this mature state, okay, wait. So in the immature state, each polarity has a negative, has 2 extremes where, think of a triangle. Then you have like a negative outcome on the left side of like one swing, and then another negative outcome of too much swinging the other way, and then in the center is your equilibrium. And all 4 have this in the immature line and in the mature line. So like in the king you have on the right side it's the tyrant, and then on the left side is like I forget, the incompetent ruler. It's something like that, like one that is too much power hungry and one that just doesn't like know how to use his power at all. And then like in the lover, you have, I think it's the sadist and the masochist, right? Where on one side is the guy that likes to get his ass beat, and then on the other side is the one who likes to beat ass. And then in the middle is a perfectly centered, equally whoops ass, gets his ass kicked man. Whatever. So then, yeah, same thing for the warrior, same thing for the magician. So reading this book, I realized I could channel these like crazy energies that I'm feeling of like ego wanting to come out in all these different ways through the magician, and even through like, well, through all of it, but mostly the magician, right? It's like learning to alchemize your own internal energies, which is like, I think, something every man, every human should learn how to do, but I think it's very important for a man to learn how to do. Because I feel like men have a hard time with their emotions. I think we've been given a lot with very little tools to know how to manage, you know, this wealth, because it is it's wealth and blessing. It's a blessing that we have, you know, this wealth of emotion within us. So yeah, using that archetype of these 4 energies, I'm able to really channel this ego. It really helped me out and put it through. So you got the king, the warrior, the magician, the lover. The writer recommends you name these people, right? You figure out in your own energy, in your own intuition, what feels right to you, what sounds right to you, what names to give these people. And then you have this council that lives in your head, right? And you meet up and you kind of like give these people in your brain, in your head, these imaginary people, authority, dominion, oversight over their respective aspects, right? So the king lords over everything, right? The king is kind of like, he's really just a figurehead, but he is where the energy comes from, right? The king is the harbinger of like, the king is the harbinger of source, or not the harbinger, like the keeper, the gatekeeper of source, right? Behind the king lies this divine choosing, right? Like there's, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like, he's a king for a reason. He was chosen by God to be king, right? So behind the king lies source, lies God. That's, the king holds that down, right? And through him, energy is given to to you, right? The spiritual source energy. Okay. Now, the magician alchemizes this energy, right? The magician is also the jester, if you want to think of it that way as well. Because I think the two negative and positive polarities of the magician are like the gesture and like it's like too aloof and then too controlling and manipulative. I forget what the polarities are there. But the magician alchemizes this energy and turns it into, you know, brings what's in the mental plane into the physical plane, right? That's what the magician's duty is. Or rather, the magician's duty is to take these spiritual ideas, craft them in the mental plane, and it's actually through the warrior, funny enough, that you bring things into physical, right? Because you have to fight that thing to get out of your body and craft it and actually like carve into reality this thing, right? That's coming from this mental, spiritual plane. So the warrior is that, and the warrior's boundaries also, right? How you deal with other people. Same with the lover. The lover is also how you deal with other people. You know, are you kind? Do you love everybody? Are you kind to everyone? Are you sadistic? Are you masochistic? Like, are you hung up? Are you reserved in your love? Do you hold your love as like a currency? Are you transactional about it? Do you feel unconditional love for people? I don't know. That's helped me channel this crazy ego thing. And I have a really nice curated set of dudes in my head. And we don't really hold council meetings anymore. I just kind of let them do their thing because I feel like I got a good grip on what's going on inside of me. That tool was very useful for when I was reading that book and that time, and I was able to like really get some stuff worked out. But the more we work on stuff, the more automatic and subconscious everything just kind of becomes, and unconscious, and I just kind of keep flowing. And I could feel just like I can reach out for something and it just operates in my hand these days, you know? It's a strange thing to experience, but I feel very connected to the universe right now. And it's awesome, dude. You know? We're just doing stuff to do stuff because we like doing stuff, dude. What can I tell you? Thanks for watching. Love you so much. Happy birthday to my... I never know what day it is. I'm so bad with the date. August 22nd, I guess? Is it August 22nd? Hey, Google, what day is it?
It's Saturday, August 22nd, 2026.
Happy birthday, August 22nd. Love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.